Hey everybody, Daniela here from Addo Aesthetics, and welcome to week 4 of Marketing Month. I am joined by my friend and colleague Nicole Simpson, who's the founder of Global Aesthetics Group and aesthetic influencer. And today we are talking about marketing through community involvement. So good to see you again, Nicole.
Thank you for having me. So happy to be back.
So marketing through community involvement, what does that mean? So when I say that, I'm talking about being involved in your community, gaining media exposure, gaining publicity, becoming a known business in your area. It's a wonderful way to bring brand awareness to your spa, to attract new clients, and really just to do something good, to be a part of your community. So some of the things that I've seen work incredibly well in spas that I've worked at in the past and other spas that I've done consulting work with, that's free, is applying for or submitting for the best of magazines. Every town has one of those best of, best of Honolulu or best of whatever city you're in. And that's a really powerful thing to say, hey, we are best in laser hair removal or best in whatever. People like to see those types of awards. And it's usually something as simple. I started this back when I was working at MediSpa Maui. I was like, I'm gonna submit MediSpa Maui for best in laser hair removal. And we went through and we won. And then we ended up winning for like 7 or 8 years in a row. I'm sure they probably still do win. But it was just one of those things that really gave brand awareness, it showed that we were, a member of our community. And that's free exposure,
How would they do the evaluation? So would they come in, did you have to offer a free treatment or did you just have to describe what you did? How would they choose?
So it's voted on.
Okay.
Which makes it really powerful. So you basically, we posted, so we submitted to the magazine, hey, we want to be nominated for best of laser hair removal. And then we would promote it on social media. And we would say, hey, vote for us for, it's all voting based. And you have to, when you go in a lot of these magazines, you'll have to submit your zip code to let them know that, okay, yes, you do live in this area and it's not just some random, person, it's not like the doctor's mom voting from some other place. It's you're actually a member of that community. And so you vote and then the most votes wins. And so it's more than just, pay to play. A lot of these advertising things, you can be featured in a magazine if you're paying for the ad, essentially. But this is voted for by the community, and we know how powerful word of mouth is in our industry. I mean, in any industry, but especially in our industry. And so it was just a really neat tool, a neat thing to see, and it's a great way to increase, social media engagement. Gives a little break if you have a very specific editorial calendar. It can be something fun, like, hey, vote for us, and just kind of creating your own little campaign to get people aware of you and your community. So that's one of the biggest opportunities that I see spas not taking. It's free. It's, every major city tends to have something like that they can promote themselves in. So that is topic number 1 on a very easy way to get involved in community marketing.
Did you ever utilize that? So once you won the awards, did you ever utilize that to run any in-spa promotions?
Absolutely. Yeah, so we would use it at the bottom of our emails, any advertising that we were doing. So if we were running a laser hair removal special, it would always say voted best laser hair removal in Maui, 8 years in a row. So we would always have, you use it to give yourself credibility. And it is a different type of credibility when it's voted best,
Hmm.
So yeah, you can absolutely use it for so many different things. It's a great way to, say thank you to your clients. You can send out an email and say thank you for voting us, best,
Hmm.
for another year. As a thank you, we want to offer, you know, X amount off or complimentary underarm treatment when you get a Brazilian or whatever your
Right.
special is.
That's a
Um,
really good idea.
yeah. So,
Really.
the next thing that I want to talk about with community involvement, and I think that you have a little bit of insight on this as well, is
Okay.
partnering with charities.
Yes.
So, that's one of the ways that I love to do good, feel good. You're doing something for your community. Um, so partnering with a charity, and I always suggest a local charity.
Hmm.
Keeping the money in the community and
Right.
doing something that aligns with your brand. If your ideal client is a 35 to 50-year-old female, um, perhaps you're going to be doing something. Where are they volunteering at? What do they care about?
Hmm.
Whether it's women's issues, children's issues, partnering with a cancer charity that does, there's a lot of beauty industry professionals that partner with cancer to help women kind of regain their confidence if they've lost their hair or whatnot. I mean, there's so many, the options are endless, but what was your experience in partnering?
Right. I had the best experience in terms of partnering with local charity. We actually were approached by an organization, and this is something, it happened probably about 10 years ago when I was working in spa. It was a brand new spa, and so we were still really struggling to build up our clientele because we just opened our doors. And we were approached by someone in our community. It was a local cancer organization, and they wanted to partner with us in terms of having a fashion show, and all of the proceeds that came from the fashion show would be donated strictly to the charity. So I actually took it on as a project for the spa because everyone was so busy, and that was a passion project for me,
Mm-hmm.
having lost people to cancer. So we went in, we did the fashion show, we did all the makeup and hair for the fashion show. But what was interesting about it is that as we were recruiting and ramping up to do this charity event, which was really nice because it was right in front of our spa, so we got awesome location out of it. But we actually submitted to the local media. We said, this is really scary, and I was so intimidated. It's intimidating to reach out to your local news, and because you automatically think like, why would they want to cover something so small or something that's not so well known? But actually, I reached out to a few local networks, and they all came and they covered our event. So we had 3 different local news media channels there. They filmed it. They put segments of us online. They helped us promote it, which helped us get so many attendees. We thought we would have maybe 30 or 40 people. We had 250 attendees who came, and
Wow.
we went. It was really impactful, and we went from zero to booked almost overnight because of that. So it was incredible, and it still is. It has that feel good element because you know that you did so good for the community, but at the same time, there is that aspect. And because it was a fashion show, our spa aligned with it, very, very well. And because it was supporting women through cancer, it also aligned with that very well. So we were able to target and ideally recruit those consumers to come into us because they were looking for the services that we provided. So it ended up really, really helping us. And, it's just about having the confidence to get out there and take a chance. And it really worked in our favor.
So, how did you reach out to the local news? Did you just go to their website and
Mhm.
try and find an editor or try and,
We actually just called. They had we got lucky because they had some phone numbers that were listed for community events, and so I just took a chance and I called. I introduced myself, who I was with, and what we were doing. And in the beginning they're kind of like, "Well, let's check it out. We'll call you back." And of course, I had that feeling of, "Oh, they're never going to call me back." And the next day, they all called me back, and they were really excited and said they would send somebody. So it literally was just the outreach. Some of them are going to be flexible like that. Some are not. Some might want an official press release, but even to write a press release is really easy. There's plenty of templates online. You can email it over. Editors love things that are new and fresh and different and better. And that's something I've learned throughout the years in this industry. So if you are working something in the community, especially if there's a benefit that they can offer their viewers, typically they'll pick it up in some way, shape, or form.
yeah, and one thing that I've learned over the years is, and I've said this a lot in my trainings, is, it never hurts to ask because the
Right.
worst thing they're going to say is no. know,
Right.
and if they say no, you're just right back where you started. But if they say yes, then look what happened with your spa. You could go from zero to booked. You get that amazing amount of publicity, and it's almost better, I think, to have that local coverage, because if you go too big, if you're on the national news, it's your audience is so wide, it's not really like the people that you're targeting to bring into your spa.
Exactly.
So
You get a good local target. You know what's really good about it as well is just that it brings authenticity to what you're doing. You wouldn't be putting time and investment into a local charity if you didn't care about it. And so it does bring the human element to your voice, which also really helps your clients relate with you. So from a business point of view, that is another way to let them know that, you are an amazing human who's passionate about healing and passionate about your craft, and in that they should come and do business with you.
yeah, and it takes away that corporate feel. So
Hmm.
it's really like we are a small business, and people love to support small business.
You do.
So yeah, I love that. I love that, the charity. So and the next kind of bullet point that I wanted to touch on with community involvement is getting involved in health and wellness fairs.
Hmm.
So this is kind of a similar to working with charities, but there's so many events that happen in local communities that we can participate in, again, just to bring that brand awareness and put you face to face with your ideal client, so that you can, again, form that connection with them. So whether it's renting a booth at, if they're having some type of health and wellness fair, that you can talk to them. I've done things as simple as going to a shop at the mall and offering complimentary hand facials to people
Nice.
that were going in. We brought Clarisonics and we cleanse their hand, put some moisturizer on there. And it was just about talking to them and getting in front of people, because there is, especially in the world of medical aesthetics, there's a lot of um, misconceptions. When I was doing consultations, spending a lot of my time doing consultations, working in the med spa, I would have women come in and they would say, I'm never doing Botox. I'm never doing fillers. And it was because they had no idea what they were. They had, and by the time they left, they were like, all right, can you do it today?
Now. Give it to me now.
But it's just
That's
that.
all being back to building trust, right?
Yep. Yep. And like, looking at a med spa from the outside can be scary, can be, you don't know what you don't know. And I don't blame them. Some of the stuff that's on the internet is scary, It doesn't mean it's true, but I can see why people are like, "Oh, I don't know if that's for me." Um
Absolutely.
and so, just getting involved in any way that you can to put yourself in front of your clients and to put a face with your business, so that you're not just some, scary office that people come out of sometimes looking red and, you know,
So when you went to the mall, and you went to these stores and you did these treatments, and you gained the trust and you gained the face time, did you put anything into place like an affiliate program or like a referral program that if they sent you people, you would give them some sort of reward?
not with the local stores. I mean, not when we were doing the hand facials, but there were other businesses. When I talk about gift card marketing, so I'm a big fan of gift card marketing. One thing, and I learned this from several people, but really one of my mentors, Matt Toronto, who's the owner of Mint Aesthetics, really kind of solidified this strategy because he does it so well at his business, which is Aesthetic Hair in Kansas
Mm.
City. Um, he actually would have a $50 gift card, a $100 gift card, and a $200 gift card. And he would give all of us, all the estheticians that were working there, we were able to pass those out to anyone that we wanted. And so, any business, any charity, any person that we met. Now, as the esthetician, we understood that if we were giving that card, we did not receive commission. So if we're doing an IPL that's $300 and we had given someone a $200 gift card, we only got commission on the $100. So there was the kind of risk taken by both sides.
Right.
However, when I was working there, I spent so much of my time partnering with real estate agents, partnering with car dealerships, partnering with specific like jewelry businesses or specific places that I felt like would cater towards my ideal client. And so what I would do is kind of build the relationship with them. And then once that was established and found out that, hey, this is a good business partner, this is someone that I want to work with, I would give that real estate agent a stack of $200 gift cards. And so every time they sold a house, they would put those in the little thank you packet. You know, same thing with car dealerships. You can do this with hairstylists, massage therapists. I mean, it's just such a huge opportunity of local businesses in your community that you can partner with and then create these referral relationships. So you essentially have your own marketing team on the ground. And then you obviously have to track it. And, you know, we have consistently, I think in every episode, talked about the 80-20 rule. And
yes.
It is going to be about 20% of your referral partners will send you about 80% of the business. But you want to make sure that you track it so you can take very good care of those people who are sending you the business.
Totally.
But again, you're partnering with local businesses. And this actually feeds very well into one of the next topics that I wanted to talk about is going to the Chamber of Commerce. So, so every local city tends to have a chamber of commerce, which is a wonderful place to meet people to create these referral relationships. So you're meeting local business owners. And that face-to-face partnership is just, it's all about the relationship. You know, when you have someone who's experienced your service, someone who, you know, their clients are also clients of yours and they can give a personal testimonial, hey, I love this business. It's a win-win for everybody.
Mm-hmm. How often would you spend out in the community? So if you had to kind of evaluate, you know, out of a month, how many hours would you spend going out, networking, Chamber of Commerce meetings, going to the mall? You know, what percentage of your time did you really spend doing that?
When I was at Aesthetic Care or now? Because it's, you know, it's very different. It's been different at different times in my life. And when I was there, that job was my life. And so I would be at work all day and then I would spend probably 20 to 30 hours a week forming these relationships. So it was a lot of work and you have to have a lot of passion. You have to have a lot of drive. It's not easy to build a clientele very quickly. You get a lot of no's, and you have to be okay with that and not take it personally. You know, one of my friends, Hannah, who's a rep for IS Clinical, she has such a great perspective. She says, no doesn't mean no, it means not right now.
Right now. Or go back and try harder.
And I was like, yeah, you know, and I think that so many of us, just as human beings, when we hear no, we take it personally and we think that there's something wrong with us or that we're not good enough or that whatever it is. And in reality, there's so many things going on in a business. It really just might not be a good time for that individual. You know, they may have other promotions going on. They may have, I mean, there's so many things that could be going on that have absolutely nothing to do with you. So I think that when you're taking any of these marketing strategies that we're talking about, it's so essential to really remove your personal emotions from it, remove your ego from it, and just know, like, keep trying because you will get to yes. You know, if you're persistent and you're consistent, you will get there. It's just, you have to keep that positive mindset, that positive attitude, and just keep going because it just takes time, you know?
Yeah. So when I was working in spa and also med spa, and I had to do the same thing, go out and really hustle for my clients, it almost came down to a numbers game for me. I noticed that, for every 10 people, whether it was a potential client or a potential relationship, I would get maybe one or two
Hmm.
people to say yes. And so I knew that, whether I had 5 hours that week to spend or 20 or even 30 hours that week to spend to get out there in the community marketing, I knew that, I just had to maximize those hours with the number of people that I contacted. So,
Hmm.
and it's kind of hard to balance if you look at things like a number game. It takes the human element out of it. I mean, you still have to be focused on quality personal interactions and bringing your best face to the table. But, for every 10 people, you're going to have one or two that convert, but just making sure that those are the right ones that you want were really the key for that. And again, it worked really quickly for us.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, if you are a solo esthetician, if you are a spa owner, if you are a med spa manager or spa director, think about who your sales superstars are. Think about who is the best person to really focus on this community outreach, who you want to be kind of the face of your business. Maybe you have multiple people, maybe there's one, but that is finding someone who can form the connection with these other businesses, is essentially a job in itself.
Yes,
Um, but
it really can be.
it's so worth it. It's so worth it. And today it's also, I am currently working at a plastic surgeon's office part time and use the same strategy. I do not work 30 extra hours a week doing this. Is that just is not a reality in my life right now, but the minimum, the small amount of time that I have spent focusing on the gift card marketing and focusing on community involvement has absolutely paid off.
Mm.
So it's a strategy that works no matter what part of the country you're in. Um, it's we're all humans. We all crave that relationship, and if you have a business, you want a way that it's this is something that's mutually beneficial to both businesses.
Okay.
Perfect. So that is it for marketing with community involvement. Our recap, the major bullet points that we talked about was nominating your spa for the best of local magazines. We talked about charity events and making sure that you're maximizing those charity events. So not only doing your best to create a phenomenal event, but reaching out to local news channels, local magazines, radio, anywhere that you can to get additional publicity. We talked about gift card marketing and creating referral relationships, participating in health and wellness fairs, and utilizing your chamber of commerce to cultivate those relationships. So, all wonderful ways to practice and implement community involvement in your marketing. So I hope that you found something that spoke to you, got a little pearl of wisdom out of this episode. And I look forward to seeing you next week in week 5, the final week of Marketing Month.